Hey, this is Ryan. Thanks for clicking on the video. As part of my research with the Kaleo project, I believe it was last spring, I sent out a questionnaire about best communication practices and difficulties that young adult leaders were having in their particular young adult groups. Very much thank you for your responses. Sorry if this is delayed, but I just wanted to run over in a short video sort of the best practices as you process communicating with your young adults this week and for upcoming events. So the first is overwhelmingly, if you're trying to get a hold of one young adult individual, a text is the way, and not a group text, because those were found to be annoying. That was both showed up in the data and in my personal life. So yeah, individual text seems to be the best way when you're trying to get a hold of one of the young adults, whether that looks like you want them to bring something in particular to the cookout you're having, or you're wanting to meet with them just to grab coffee. So that means you need to have a system in place to collect phone numbers or sort of figure out the least invasive way to engage in gathering that data. At a group level, it was pretty amazing how many different types of communication platforms and apps there were. Each has its own strengths and weaknesses, we can talk through those. If you still haven't found something you're happy with product-wise of what options are out there, feel free to reach out. But in general, best practices, you need all your information in one place that is 1 or 2 clicks away from the home screen of your young adult's smartphone. So yeah, whatever that looks like. If that's a Facebook page, if you have the ability in your church to update a website efficiently, like that's a good place to keep it as well. But so easily accessible in that way, easily presentable. And then the next step for that is for those pieces of information on that website to be updated and correct. So say you transitioned your meeting times from 7 to 6:30. Make sure that's updated. The reason why that's important is especially true not so much for your regular attenders, but when you look at like sort of what's an archetypical young adult out there who's not connected to a church home, there's a high social anxiety. There's a high risk for them to take a step out and to attend your event. And so for you to have an accurate description, that also includes maybe a little bit of what they can expect in the young adult group, or what the space you're trying to create. It's important for them to have that information to lower that anxiety, or to make it as easy as an on-ramp from a Google search to actually attending your event and hopefully finding a church home there. That piece of consistent information, it can really help with that on-ramp. And then, yeah, just that piece of consistently up to date and then consistently used. I think Meetup, the app, is a good example. I know several of you have used it on and off. I think Pepsi is the church that's used it the most consistently. So when I would have honestly, I probably have told some of you like, don't mess with Meetup, it's not that successful. Well, the Pepsi has had some young adults join the group based on that, and it's a free place to post your meeting. And so their consistency, even if a few times initially they had no response or little response, that consistency of presence in that particular place has led to young adults coming and experiencing their events. So that consistently used piece has been a lesson we've learned as well. Thank you for your time. Thank you for what you're doing. And I hope these kind of help frame up certain thoughts and plans you have for communicating with your young adults.